My name is Bill Ritchie. Many years ago at the Evergreen State College, a colleague gave me the title, the itinerant professor. From the old days when professors wandered around teaching wherever they could get paid. I was a professor without a university. Today I'm going to show you a 1-hour video of where this has taken me. A land I call Emeralda region, a make-believe place that is my ideal campus, a community university. This tour will take place over the hour. It took me 60 days to make it. I did it to practice learning new software, Adobe Premier Pro, and my new smartphone. What you're going to see are these 10-day intervals visiting each of 10 islands. Emeralda region is a land of islands on a lake. It's a huge lake, and the 10 islands are arranged around the perimeter of the lake. They're arranged alphabetically. The first one is called ARTSPORT, and it goes around the lake. And each of these islands are a domain of expertise. There's a culture on each island that I feel were probably the elements in the lives of my former students that made them the successes that they are. All in different proportions, but that's the idea. So in my imagination, I go around this lake all the time, and I think about the culture of each of these domains of expertise. So what you're going to see now is myself acting as a greeter, a guide. Oh, I hope you enjoy watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. And there's one more thing. I made this partly as an experiment. I always wanted to make Emeralda a game other people could play. And I experiment with different genres of games. And so sometimes you'll see references to things like Escape Emeralda, escape games, that kind of thing. So anyway, our first stop is ARTSPORT. Good morning. I'm Bill and I'll be your docent. Today we are on the island of ARTSPORT. ARTSPORT was named during the time when I was first starting to use computers, and I kept seeing the word port, and it meant there was a certain socket where you needed to plug in whatever it was. And I'm in art, and in art we think of ourselves as being explorers and sometimes, like comparing ourselves to navigators. And I needed to learn how to navigate my way around the computer. And as I designed Emeralda, I thought that was a useful metaphor. So I named the first island alphabetically ARTSPORT. So have a good day here. Hope you enjoy yourself. The thing about escape games and escaping ARTSPORT is that they're not such great places. They're not places where you'd want to stay. Nice places to visit, but you wouldn't want to stay. So we need to find the correct answers to the questions, the challenges that one is going to experience when they give you permission to leave. For example, I remembered a name of a collector named Chew, and we were told how we could go and find the owners of artworks. Sure enough, there was a Chew that had the artwork in their collection. I also noticed that a lot of other people have this too. I've used up my time. I'm interested in maps and charts, and that's partly why I invented ARTSPORT for the game Emeralda. This is a print I made in the 1980s based on the movie, The Planet of the Apes. It's a long story. But the important thing is that ARTSPORT is a game of navigation, and it's to chart our times of the cybernetic age, the age of computers, and how we make things and how we store things and how we retrieve things, information, images, and so forth. But I believe it always comes back down to something tangible like a print. I became interested in charts and maps partly because I was so interested in sailing ships when I was a boy. And in 2004, I began making half-wood presses, and while I was working on the presses, I kept thinking about ships and sailing and how the design for this press may have come to the Northwest and to me aboard a sailing ship. And I made up a story, and the ARTSPORT idea came to me as a way to associate creative arts and innovation with exploration, so that artists are in a way exploring worlds, sometimes like mine, of my own creation. Every day when I come into the mini art gallery, I ask myself, what can I do in the next 30 seconds that might make a difference? So I'm going to walk around my game table and show you what I'm confronted with, all my choices. It's really quite a mess when I look at it. But the idea is that I want to build a teaching method for printmaking that can go online in the form of a MOOC. And I know it has to be gamified. I know it has to be fun and at the same time hard fun. A teaching method for printmaking that can go online in the form of a MOOC. And I know it has to be gamified. I know it has to... Well, in conclusion, when I come into the gallery and I do the last of these installments at ARTSPORT, I'm still confronted with what's next, what's going to happen tomorrow. And it looks like it's going to be interesting anyway. Thanks for watching this series. I'm Bill Ritchie. Good morning. I'm Bill. I'll be your docent. Today we're at Electronic Studios and Art Galleries in the great Emeralda region, the island of Estudios. Estudios was invented when electronics, such as video and computer graphics, were coming into use by artists in experimental ways from the 1950s and 60s. And it has what we did is artists mostly work digitally. I hope you enjoy your day. Starting out in the 70s was a handicap because we had only brick and mortar art galleries and museums. Electronic studios and art galleries, we thought had to be in some sort of brick and mortar setting. This was way, way before the internet, of course, and way before what we call the digital age. But I'm glad I stayed with the idea because now there's a virtual art gallery and museum on the cloud. Fortunately, during these times, we're going to need it. We'll need it, but if we're going to get there, we have to escape this island of thinking in terms of brick and mortar. Back in the day, in the mid-1970s, when I invented the idea of electronic studios and art galleries, it didn't have much appeal. But today, when we have our art gallery full of artworks, with a pandemic and no one coming in, the electronic studio and art gallery has a lot more appeal. So the solution is to turn all the artworks into some sort of a electronic form that is as enjoyable to experience as seeing the real thing. That, of course, would be a way to reopen the art gallery. Sometimes the words of the poet Bob Dylan come back to me, like this morning, thinking about E-Studios. You would not know to look at him that he was famous long ago for playing the electric violin on Desolation Row. I was kind of famous long ago for playing with electronic systems like video art and computer graphics. And I was working in a way on Desolation Row at the University of Washington, but it was a paradise at the time. It might appear strange that somebody in electronic arts is laminating an edge, taping, but this is the support for my monitor. And electronic studios and art gallery really requires multitasking. Sometimes you're the set designer and the recorder and the editor, all those things. Well, for 10 days I've been virtually touring the rest of the islands on the Emeralda region, and my new tabletop is done. What I learned at the UW when I was working with the students is teamwork. You can't do electronic studios without teamwork. So there you have it. In conclusion, we started out with video art as an open door to electronic studios and art galleries, and that brought in musicians, and musicians taught us teamwork in printmaking. So now we're coming full circle to the point where printmaking will take place online in remote places, but we're still together. That's my conclusion. Thanks for watching. I'm Bill Ritchie. Good morning. I'm Bill, and I'll be your docent here at MacRitchie's, the island of fast, fine, free art. I started MacRitchie's in an era when fast food was, McDonald's. And I thought there was kind of an equivalent growing in the computer age of art that could be made fast and was so inexpensive because it was digital, almost free. So MacRitchie's fast, free, fine art. So I'll be working in fast ways today, and I hope you enjoy your visit to MacRitchie's. Thanks for coming. I'm back at MacRitchie's. There's no such thing as fast, free, fine art, but we keep trying to escape the idea of fast, free, fine art. I'm trying, for example, to get back to printing slow art with this plate that was sent to me by Eclori in Switzerland. It's all part of the game, all part of the escape game of Escape Emeralda. Thanks for watching. MacRitchie's is very much a part of the printmaking world. And when it was conceived, it was compared to fast food. Became popular or possible because of technologies like the kind of griddle they used or the kind of milkshake makers and so forth to serve food fast. And so the model for MacRitchie's was similar to using technologies that allowed an artist to make fast art. But the real motto or the real message of MacRitchie's is it's about time. Time has form, and the making and the storage and the retrieval of art is all about time. That's the meaning of MacRitchie's. I first got the idea, I think, that there was some connection between fast food, like McDonald's, and fast art. In 1965, had a McDonald's on the edge of the campus at San Jose State University. It's a long, long road, and the whole idea of fast and speed and so forth has certainly affected my thinking and certainly has got us where we are today with the pandemic and the climate change. McDonald's, fast food, MacRitchie's, fast art. It all came down to time. It came down to giving time form, which is a complicated concept. But somebody summed it up for me one time by saying that time is like real estate. There's no more of it. So an artist using multimedia and thinking about giving shape or form to time thinks like a musician who has a score sheet or an actor working from a script. There is a form, and their timing is crucial to its correct performance. Well, looking at the work in our mini art gallery in Seattle, I have to conclude that maybe learning how to work with new technology to make fast, free, fine art paid off in a sense. Giving shape to time. Time has form. There it is. Good morning. I'm Bill Ritchie, and I'll be your docent. Today we're at Open Studios and Hospitality on the Great Lake, the island on the Great Lake of Emeralda region. Open Studios and Hospitality developed in the 1970s when printmaking students began inviting artists to their studio classroom to show them a good time and to trade visiting experts with potluck dinners and stories. I hope you enjoy yourself today at O Studios. Well, here we are back at Open Studios and Hospitality, and I'm looking for a DVD from 2010 of one of the best Open Studios and Hospitality examples I could think of to share with you today. It was 2010, and it was held in the back of an art supply store, and the DVD is a recording of that party, the printing party. And if I can convert this file, the WMV files, then we'll be able to unlock the secrets and escape Open Studios. I hadn't thought much about Open Studios and Hospitality until I went to the University of Washington to teach, and my students wanted speakers, and I thought that was a good idea, but we didn't have the budget for it, and so we put up Artist for Brunch and Artist for Tea. That was a kind of Open Studios and Hospitality, and instead of money, we paid our artist guests with food and wine and good times, and of course the interest that the students showed in those artists' ideas.
Thank you very much.
In 1980, for example, we videotaped Stephen Hazel, who was a guest in our open studio.
Wow. It's just nice.
That was a good lesson, and it carried over to the students after they graduated. This idea of the artist as a provider of open studios and hospitality sometimes goes into the artist's home, as it has now. We're in the pandemic. I'm confined to my home pretty much. And one of my former students, Carl Chu, was one of the primary movers and shakers of the hospitality aspect in the way of entertainment. So today he's given me a puzzle to help me and my wife pass the time, and we're well into the production of it. But it's just another example of this idea of artists as providing more than just pictures to their communities. And by the way, Carl came to art from a background in science, so it's fun to see how that background must have influenced his art as we put these pieces of the puzzle together. Welcome to Open Studios and Hospitality. I thought today I would give you some insights as to how I make these videos. So the first thing I have to do is to set my camera up on my tripod and aim it into the area where I plan to be working. Get the height just right and so forth. Get the camera leveled. And then I have to select, of course, video record mode and plug in my microphone. And that's basically all there is to it. Of course, then it has to be transferred from the phone to the desktop editor, and piece of cake. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the camera should be in airplane mode and not in selfie mode like this. In conclusion, Open Studios and Hospitality, printmaking is like math in a way. We deal with proof, the social value of print. Like this book I did with a former student, Pat Austin, is proof. It works. It has form. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Perfect Press. It's the island in Emeralda region on the Great Lake, named for publishing and press making. So the products here are both the perfect presses, like the half-wood press line, and publishing. For example, this plate, which I plan to publish as part of my Print Pal project. So perfect press has two meanings, both products and publishing. I hope you enjoy your visit to Perfect Press. You know, it seems like it was forever ago that I was obsessed with the Perfect Press. And in those days, all the presses were huge, like this poster I made. And eventually I came to the idea that the Perfect Press was very small, was portable, and actually had a mind of its own. In other words, I could put my teaching into the press, and I did it with a flash drive. This was, 10 years ago. Then we have the Internet of Things. It's all a part of escaping the Perfect Press. Here we are today on the island of Perfect Press, the domain of expertise in printing and publishing. Perfect Press is a small, beautiful press. That's my achievement from a few years back. It's small, it's beautiful, and underneath it even has a flash drive where I can store my teaching, because the four pillars of Emeralda region as a whole are teaching and research and practice and service. And there's no better instrument for an artist, well, perhaps musical instruments, but for me, it's a press. And this is my idea of a perfect press. Welcome to Perfect Press. It was October of 2012, I think, when I first read about 3D printers. And I just about fell off my chair when I read about it. It was a story of an engineer, industrial designer, and he was in love with playing music. He wanted to build a guitar, and he discovered 3D printing. It was sort of like making an etching press. I made one out of wood, and what happened then was 7 years later, Martin Schneider in Germany designed what I call the equivalent of a musical instrument through the 3D printer. This is my idea of a perfect press. It's miniature. And there's one in particular that I like, and that is the Wee Woody Rembrandt press. And I say it's perfect because when I made this in 2012, I made it in 50 little pieces that one could put together and learn how to make a plate and print it, and then the prints become parts of a game. Now the press changed from 50 pieces to more like 19 pieces. And when they were all put together, they resulted in something a lot like this, like the one in this photo. I think it was a musician who said that you play your instrument, such as a guitar, and perfect it, and then your instrument plays you and perfects you. And I think that's what happened when I designed the mini half-wood press, and it led to novels and books, even books about other people that used it. That's a perfect press. Good morning. I'm Bill and I'll be your artist. Thank you for coming today. Today we're on the island of Perfect Studios in Emeralda. That's the island of asset management and legacy transfer. Artist asset management and legacy transfer. In other words, everything an artist has done their entire life and how they transfer this legacy into the hands of their family, if they have one, or to their community. So I hope you enjoy your stay here at Mini Art Gallery today. Good morning. Welcome to Perfect Studios. I'm Bill Ritchie, and I conceived of Perfect Studios back when I was a professor of art at the University of Washington. And the university had a great teaching hospital, and I took the idea of the teaching hospital and adapted it to the Perfect Studios, a place where all teaching and research and practice and services were happening at the same time under one roof. It has since become an asset management and legacy transfer. This is the island of asset management and legacy transfer, and I hope you enjoy your stay here. My name is Bill Ritchie, and I start each day at my gallery in Seattle. It's a beautiful gallery, perfect studio, I call it, and I am making videos about the topic of perfect studios. But it's not necessarily a physical space. It's as much a space on the cloud as it is a space in Seattle. As perfect as it is, the Perfect Studio goes beyond that. Today at Perfect Studios, I'm managing my assets as usual on this island, and I'm also looking into the assets of other artists and teachers I have met over the past 50 years. I hope you enjoy your visit today. For a long time, I thought a perfect studio would be where you had all the materials and tools and supplies that you need to create your art and your designs and your crafts. But I learned over time that it's more like a perfect studio is like a house where you have all these materials and supplies and your needs, but you also have a system for keeping track of them, for storing them, for knowing where they are so you can retrieve them, and importantly, how you can disseminate them over time. And with the new systems of managing your assets, you have the means now to have a perfect studio, all those things. It's rolling, Bill. On the subject of artist asset management and legacy transfer, here's one of the most amazing things. For a year, my wife and one of our daughters put together a complete catalog raisonné of all the works I created, virtually all of them. They totaled 2,530, I think it was, in a massive database. They came in every week and spent an hour taking photographs, usually about 30 to 50 photographs, very quick thumbnail sketches, and now they're all in this book. We didn't have much time, so everything was kind of quick and dirty. And I use a zine publishing company to produce these. Good morning. I'm Bill, and I'll be your artist. Today we're on the island of Perfect Studios in Emeralda. That's the island of asset management and legacy transfer. Artist asset management. In conclusion, new technologies made asset management and legacy transfer possible. I can look back 50 days or 50 years. Thanks for watching. I'm Bill Ritchie. Good morning. I'm Bill, and I'll be your guide here. Welcome to RIISMA. Ritchie's International Institute for the Study of Multimedia Arts. It's the think tank of Emeralda region, inspired years ago by a think tank called Battelle Research here in Seattle. At RIISMA, we study man's impulse to have action at a distance. We take, for example, the handprint on the wall of a cave, put there with somebody's hope, perhaps, that it might be seen 30,000 years later. Or, for example, the bow and arrow. Action at a distance, over time and space. I hope you enjoy your stay here at RIISMA. I've covered a lot of interesting topics over the years at Ritchie's International Institute for the Study of Multimedia Arts, RIISMA. And probably the greatest or most surprising thing of all is to determine that video games are the art of the 21st century. Another important discovery is that as far as education is concerned, the massively open online course, the MOOC, is perhaps the best form for education in the future. On RIISMA, we believe that the two will combine. The MOOC, in other words, will be a kind of video game. Talk more about it next time you visit. And if you see anything interesting about this gamification of MOOC, get in touch with me. It was probably in college, after I left the farm and went to college, that I learned about the Club of Rome, or a society where you had to have an IQ of over 200 to belong to this secret society. And it gave me the impression that there was always some higher level that you could work toward. And that's probably what gave me the idea that in the multimedia arts in my field, that there must be some sort of a place like a think tank, and that was the origins of the Ritchie Institute for Studies of Multimedia Arts. Welcome to RIISMA. Here on RIISMA, we deal every day with the uncertainty principle. You never know what you're going to get. You never know what message is going to come, or something online, something on the internet. For example, one of my favorite projects has been the gamification of massively open online courses for using printmaking as the core. An example is this press designed by Martin Schneider in Germany, and my idea is to make the parts of this press parts of a game, so that the making of the press and the use of the press, the plate and the print, are part of a game. One example of what we do on RIISMA. This is one of those days when I just love being here at RIISMA. Also, it's the last of my introductory videos, but today what I discovered actually some time back is what they call virtual concerts, and software that coordinates musicians all around the country or the globe even, so that they can have a live jam session or concert on the internet. And I thought, when I saw that, why not printmaking? And as I studied the idea further, I realized you could have a printmaking party or a kind of a printing concert online, multiple places, with any of the number of personal-sized presses available around the world, all coordinated around printing a same plate, which was printed 3D or laser engraved, and timed according to, just like a musical performance, printing a plate. At RIISMA, the emphasis is on research, because we need to find a structure for collaboration. We draw from many fields, such as music. A structure for collaboration is an insurance policy for hope. Good morning. Welcome to the Mini Art Gallery, where I play every day, and I play Emeralda, Games for the Gifts of Life, and today we're on the imaginary island of SPEACON. All played on a computer, of course. SPEACON stands for Speaking, Consulting, Curriculum Design, and Training. I've been playing this teaching game for all my life. It's my favorite thing. Well, enjoy your day. I'm back. It's been 10 days since I was at SPEACON, and in those 10 days I bought a new device to go with my telephone video camera. It's called a gimbal, one of several kinds of automated devices that will allow the viewer to sort of follow as I walk around. So maybe by the time you're back in another 10 days on SPEACON, I'll have it up and running. First I have to download an app, put in batteries and all the rest. By the way, if you're wondering about the artworks, this one is by me in 1972, I think, and belongs to Zena Chu. Hope you enjoy your day here. I'm Bill Ritchie. You're looking at the corner of the Mini Art Gallery in Seattle, our family's Mini Art Gallery in Seattle. I'm Bill Ritchie. I'll be your guide today at SPEACON. This is the imaginary island in the imaginary region of Emeralda, celebrating speaking and consulting and design of curriculums, the teaching profession, the calling. And it's partly because of that calling that I'm able to have this beautiful gallery, even with things from my former students from almost 50 years ago. I'm surrounded by the wealth that comes from the teaching profession, and I hope you enjoy your visit today at SPEACON. I'm Bill Ritchie. People have a lot of different opinions about success. What does success mean? And in the arts and in education, it's debatable. But I think speaking, public speaking, is key. The ability to talk in front of groups comfortably, to ability to talk to other individuals, the social aspects. And that's what SPEACON is all about. SPEACON is made up of the words speaking, consulting mainly, and then I also include the design of curriculums, as part of the skills that I observed when I was a professor of art at the University of Washington seem to lead to success of my students. Speaking might be part of the word SPEACON on this island, but equally important, maybe more important, are consulting. And maybe the most important of all is the design, the curriculum design, particularly now in the age of digital knowledge growing. I've decided that the design of games, and this is my game table, is perhaps the most important step toward realizing online knowledge growing about printmaking as the root of STEM. Good morning. Here I am. Time to conclude this series of improvisations. I love coming into Perfect Studios. This isn't Perfect Studios, excuse me. I love coming into SPEACON and finding the work that I left the day before. Anyway, in conclusion, I just want to thank you for watching, and my name is Bill Ritchie. I'm just wild about something. Good morning. I'm Bill, and I'll be your artist today. Welcome to Video Island in the great Emeralda region, the Great Lake of the Emeralda region. Here we practice our video skills, like I'm doing right now. And video skills are one of the basics of Emeralda play. You have to know how to do videos. And I'm going to enjoy my stay today. It's August 9th, 2020. Thanks for watching. See you next 10 days. Well, now it was 10 days since I was last here on Video Island, and I was thinking how I started out. 50 years ago, I was 28, and it was 1970, and one of my first videos was about the scraper and the burnisher. I wanted to teach printmaking without the time and space constraints, so videos could go into the library, students could go watch the videos on their own time. And that's how I started in my video experience.
And it's a pretty obvious process as to what you have to do when you sharpen a scraper. However, a lot of people might overlook the fact that there's a curvature here, and you have to maintain something of that curvature on your burnisher. Now, there's a little known fact about the burnisher. I've never seen it stressed.
Not a lot has changed, actually. It's a lot easier now. I don't have to have a crew. Hope you enjoy your stay. Welcome back to video. I was remembering back to the 1970s when we made videos, and I first thought about using them for teaching printmaking. And the cameras were huge things. They literally brought them in trucks and rolled them around on big dollies. Now we have this little camera, smartphone, and in order to put these videos into form that I can broadcast on YouTube, I have an editing system over there that's churning away to convert to a suitable form. And I have time to play with a puzzle my friend made for me.
And he has a press that's made by the same company as this one.
I had my beginnings with video in 1970, making documentaries of artists at work in Seattle. And within a few years, we began making what became called video art by playing around with the equipment and working in teams and improvising. Since then, I continued working with video, mostly for distance learning, for teaching at a distance, particularly in the massively open online courses, the MOOC. Video is indispensable for distance learning. I've been making videos for 50 years, and this is one of my finest achievements, and one of the things I'm most proud of. In 1983, I bundled up my family and 35 hours of blank tapes and went around the world. It was a sabbatical leave, actually, from the University of Washington for 1 year. It took us 8 months to go around the world and make these 35 hours of videos, interviewing artists and museum people and all kinds of experts in multimedia about the future. It was a gamble, and I won. I won because I had the advice and observations from people in 15 different countries in so many different lines of work that I could take this and launch my next career. Launch my next career, that's a nice note to end on. And I guess it has been a new career, but anyway, this concludes the final episode of my tour of Video Island in Emeralda region. Thanks for watching. I'm Bill Ritchie. Good morning. I'm back. I'm Bill, and I'll be your docent today. We're on video and print. Video and print is the island in the domain of expertise of converting video and computer graphics images into print, into hard copy. I've been doing this since probably 1971, 72, and my purpose today is to introduce you to this idea. So I hope you enjoy your stay here on Video and Print in the Mini Art Gallery in Seattle. I'm Bill Ritchie. I'm back. Today we're at Video and Print again. It's been 10 days since I was here. And they've given me a special assignment today. It doesn't have much to do with turning videos into printmaking, but it has to do with making the videos in the first place. That's the catch at Video and Print. In order to make prints from video or video art or computer graphics, you first have to know how to make the videos, original videos. Like this screenshot I made in 1972 and then made it into a hand-drawn color lithograph. In order to escape Video and Print, you have to make videos yourself. I have a special assignment today to make a bot, to use a bot. I'm Bill, and I'll be your docent, as you know. This is my library at Video and Print, and it sort of bears witness to the fact that printmaking evolved through all the electronic media, like video and computers, but it all comes back to print, hard copy, and being able to print what you have experienced on the internet, in your imagination, and coming full circle, as it were, back to your roots. because print is the root of all the new media. So in playing Emeralda, I go all through the 10 islands. I start at ARTSPORT. I go all through the islands. I come back to video and print. Always comes back to print. About 350 years ago, Rembrandt made this etching. It's called Faust, Dr. Faust, about a man who traded his soul to the devil for knowledge. And here we are on the 10th island in my imaginary world, Emeralda. In video and print, my imaginary island, we come full circle now to the 10th of those islands. And print is my awakening to art. The first time I saw art, I was looking at a print, reproduction of some kind, a print. Rembrandt fascinates me. So I imagine Rembrandt in his studio about 350 years ago thinking about Dr. Faustus, and I'm feeling kind of philosophical myself this morning because I converted all my travel tapes and many other videotapes to the internet. And so did I trade my soul to the devil for the knowledge? In this book, the travel tapes, I included a QR code. And the QR code refers to a YouTube video that I put up. And if I scan it, I can go directly to YouTube and watch it on my desktop or on my phone. This is a scene as when we were walking around a village in Bali, watching the kids carving stone sculpture. Good morning. I'm back. I've mentioned escape several times in the past videos, and escaping video and print island, one would be on the last of the 10 islands and break free of the whole Emeralda region, but I have to confess, I don't really know where we go from here. That's part of playing Emeralda. Thanks for watching. I'm Bill Ritchie. Well, there you have it. For 60 days, I have pretended that I was a docent entering each of the islands in Emeralda region, my imaginary place that I invented about the time the internet came as a perfect world. And the reason I did these series was mainly to learn how to use Premiere Pro, Adobe's video editing software. And it was a good method, a way of learning and sharing with anybody who watches this my notions about my Emeralda region, where I play Emeralda, the games for the gifts of life. Thanks for watching. Oh, and as for the name Emeralda, that's a long story. In 1992, the region of the British Columbia all the way down to Oregon, economic development people wanted a name for their region. It's sort of a international effort. And I submitted the name to their contest, Emeralda. They didn't choose that name. They chose Cascadia. But I took the name for my own use and named my region Emeralda. Later, a hotel in Jakarta and a golf club and a video game character, a girl warrior, was named Emeralda. And finally, a five-star resort in Vietnam took the name Emeralda. There's a wetlands in the northeast too, I think, called Emeralda. Anyway, that's the story of Emeralda. Thanks for listening.
Congratulations. You have won the Elmer Gates Prize. You do know who